Alrighty, welcome to another edition of Achievement College, my step-by-step guide to getting you that gamer score. This is Aussie Gamer 17 and this is chapter 6 of our 100% walkthrough for Call of Cthulhu. This is the Hawkins Mansion. Let's go.
Who goes there?
Just another nightmare, mate. It's alright. It's alright, Edward.
I need a drink.
I need a drink, but remember not to have a drink. There is an opportunity to have a drink in this chapter, guys, but don't. Because there's an achievement for not drinking. Forgive me if I hadn't already mentioned that earlier in the walkthrough. Anyway, head downstairs and chat to these guys.
How do you feel?
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
Yeah, I thought that guy was dead.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I wish they would tell me what happened. It doesn't really matter, but I've never gone into the options here to talk to Bradley, so I want to find out if there's any other answers in here. Alright, I'm going to test my psychology. Let's do that.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever.
Oops.
Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Did I get it wrong? Anyway, I found what? I don't know what I want to tell them. Alright, let's just do what I do know gets us somewhere. Tell them that.
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something.
Alright, Edward,
I
stop
woke
your
up at
whinging,
the
mate.
Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover...
Oh, his eyes. Might be onto a lead.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
The basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Well, let's say he called him the Shambler.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here?
Definitely.
This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say?
That's a good plan.
That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Better to confront the truth.
He's right.
It doesn't matter what you say, by the way, guys.
But it could drive her mad.
I'm fairly
Better
sure.
madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best. That's exactly what I was thinking. Now, you could choose to go, I think it's over there, and have a drink. Don't do that. Just head for the door and let's get out of here.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Her again. She keeps showing up.
You know each other.
Our paths crossed.
She's from the docks.
The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're
Oh.
investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
Some of the dialogue is very faint, like very quiet, so I don't know how it's coming across in the recording, guys.
You had the opportunity to talk to my husband.
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please
And that's
hold
the
my
link.
tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Ooh, okay, what do we tell her? We're going to say that she's taking it quite well. There is a dialogue choice that we have to get to here, guys, so make sure you choose what I choose. I'm not going to tell you why just yet, but yeah, just make sure.
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
I never said I saw it. Alright, this is where you have to choose. It wasn't me who sent him there.
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Alright, I don't think it really matters here. We're going to ask about the Shambler, though.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Okay, once the conversation's over, guys, head over to the piano here, and you have to hit the keys in this order. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. That will open this little drawer, and we get
Is this
this
dagger
book.
part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Okay, now remember what that dagger looks like. That's important for an achievement later in the chapter, guys. So make sure you remember that dagger. Well, actually, you don't have to because I'm going to show you. But anyway, that dagger is important. Okay, once you've done that, head back over here towards the fireplace. Pick up this note.
Did she really care for him after all?
And look at this picture on the
The day the
mantelpiece.
Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Okay, that's going to allow us to do a reconstruction. So let's start that off. First thing we want to, I think you have to do this in a specific order. We're going to examine the teacup here.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
How did you gather that just from that? All right, head over to this book.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
And then this covered up painting here.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
All right, and then Sarah Hawkins herself.
She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
And then Irene.
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
And then the painting itself. Oh,
The Shambler.
is that what happened to his
To
eyes?
see it.
Okay, but before we do anything else, we're going to head past this table, pick up this,
Let's see what this
whatever you
cylinder
call it,
has to say
cylinder.
once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Oh, wonder where we can find a phonograph. Oh, wait. Right there. Pop it in here.
Irene,
And just listen for
I
now.
made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes.
Is that it? I think that's it. All right.
I can't take
Nope,
anymore.
it's not.
I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Okay. Now it might be
I
over.
should never let them take you away. What have I done? Everything is my fault.
I told ya. All right. Now we're going to head down this hall to the left, guys. You can't open this door, but I'm wondering if this counted towards interactions. Because coming up is 50 interactions that I got in my practice run. I'm wondering if it'll pop around the same time in this run. Once in this room, though, we're going to grab an achievement, guys. So where Kat is, interact with the book right in front of her. It's going to ask you if you want to read the book and choose to read the book and get the Beyond Reality achievement. This game is delayed. There it is. So grab that. Put that down. Now talk to Kat.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
None of your business, I'm going to choose.
It's got nothing to do with you, Baker. At least I hope not.
Bravado. And a threat. In the same sentence. I appreciate the effort, Detective. But watch your tongue.
Oh, who are you? What are you going to do? And you, what are you doing here?
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
What I know does not concern you, Detective.
I must insist.
I'm afraid that I must insist. I'm already trying to convince myself that you have nothing to do with my investigation. So help me stick to this assumption, or I'll have to treat you as a suspect.
Oh.
Business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network, and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
She has a point. Alright, now interact with this box here. I've never seen this fail, but it is a strength test. You do need to get into this box here. I don't know what would happen. So if it doesn't look exactly how it looks on my screen, or sound how it sounds, pause and reload checkpoint. But I've never seen it fail before. Yeah, very quick. I'm not sure if there is any other option. Let me know in the comments down below though, guys. Alright, make sure you pick up the key. Turn to your left, grab this diary.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Go to the filing cabinet, grab this note.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting.
Ooh, and there it is, Jack of all trades. That's inspect 50 items. That's actually a couple of items earlier than I got it in my practice run. So there we go. And don't worry if you don't get that there, guys. Plenty of more things that we're going to inspect throughout the game. Head around the table and grab this book on the floor. But I guess if you're following along, you probably got it at the same time or earlier. And pick up the blue bottle here.
I could use one of those.
And where I got it was when I actually looked at this here.
Strange Amerindian.
That's when I got the achievement. Alright, now head over to the bookshelf over here. Move the suitcase. Read this book here. Alright, and now the key that we just picked up is to unlock this door here. So do that. Now, in this room, guys, in a moment, we're going to come across a bit of a, I guess the game would call it a boss fight. And that starts by interacting with that painting over there. Once you've done that, we're going to get an achievement for banishing the Shambler using only one dagger. And that means you have to choose the right dagger. You'll see heaps of daggers in all of these cases. And you can come along and smash the glass and grab the dagger to try and fight the demon or whatever it is. The dagger we want is this one right here in the corner. You'll see that it looks a lot like the dagger that we saw in that picture earlier in that book. You see none of these quite look the same. There are a couple that look quite similar. Alright, so as soon as the fight starts, we're going to run to that dagger. We're going to grab that dagger. And we're actually going to come back and use the dagger on this painting. And here's another picture with the clue of the dagger. There it is again, so make sure you pick that up. And now we're going to interact with the painting and get this achievement. Let's go. Uh-oh. I don't bother sneaking around, guys. We just run for it. He's an ugly thing, that's for sure. Alright, as soon as we are in control...
What the hell was that?
Come on. Let's go. Run for it. Straight down here. Straight over here. Smash the glass. Grab the dagger.
This dagger looks different.
Go the way that he's not. And run to the painting, guys. Just run to the painting and interact. Boom. I don't know why he says the dagger looks different. Reminds me of Abe's Odyssey.
What's the matter with you?
And we did it. The achievements we should get 2 achievements for that.
You sure you won't be needing that hand?
The thing on the
Using it,
doorstep,
detective.
that's the one for using the
At
right
this
dagger.
rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before.
And then you get an unmissable for just
didn't
beating
see
the
anything.
shambler.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Whoa. Let's just tell her we drank too much. None of her business.
It's nothing. I think I just drank too much.
That goes without saying. If you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, then you're in real trouble.
Okay, now guys, after this conversation, the chapter is going to end. That'll be the end of the video. I want to thank you all very, very much. If you enjoy guides like this, please help me make more guides like this and head over to Patreon and support me there, where it costs just $1 to join Patreon and join the Aussie army there. So please do that. Otherwise, just hit like on the video to show me that you like this sort of thing. Post a comment and let me know. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Let's get through this conversation. You knew about the monster?
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
That's handy information. And you give me this information free of charge?
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
Oh, there's the bell, guys. You know what that means. Class dismissed.